Welcome to Vertex Talks, a podcast where we talk about trending topics and answer your guys' questions. Today we are here with a motivational speaker, freelancing expert, TikToker slash YouTuber, Arish Haq. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm great, bro. How are you?
I'm doing well. We've been planning this for nearly 2 months, which is
Yeah,
always a big rip, but we finally got a bit of time for both of us. So yeah, we're doing
yep.
into a couple of questions that you guys have asked first, and then we'll get into some questions that I have.
Great. I'm thrilled to be here, man. I'm so thankful. Like, I'm humbled to be here. Actually, thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first time I'm actually attending a podcast, and I think it's great to be honest.
Okay. So one of the first viewer questions are: explain what you do to someone who has never heard of you before.
Just a person who is basically documenting his life. It's like I'm just a 23-year-old. I I'm basically documenting my life. I'm just a 23-year-old who wants to build some amazing businesses in his life. And as time passed, I realized that I should document the whole process so that when I'm done with it, it's great for for me to see, or my family to see, or for my grandkids or whatever. Like, it's to
Yeah.
leave a legacy, basically, to leave a legacy, basically. And with that, I try to bring in as much positive vibes to the world as possible, because I believe, um like if you've got good, like if you have it good, if you're happy, if you're a good person, if you got good things in you, you should actually spread it out to the world. Because most of the people in the world, most actually 90% or 95%, they're scared to talk about positivity today. And I think, which is a really big deal, because we've got a literally a new generation in front of us who are built upon phones, right? And
Yeah.
who are built upon social media. So, like, I just wanna make the world a better place with some positivity as much as possible. And I want to like, what you call it, I want to um, appreciate, or I want to ask others to do it as well. Like, give them the nudge that you should try and spread some positivity as well, because it is cool. It is actually cool to do it as well. You don't always have to be, that,
Yeah.
like, we've got this thing which is like, you have to be funny, you have to be this, you have to be that. It's not necessary. You just have to find what's in you, and it's always better to spread something good in the world. And that's what I'm trying to do. And with this freelancing thing, it's just a phase, because I've been a freelancer all my life. So, like, since 16, when I was 16, I was a freelancer. From since then, and I started earning at a really young age. And it's great. So I just try to help people who are at that age, or are wanting to get some income sources, which is why I don't even take money. I don't have courses. I don't have anything. Like, people do sell courses. I don't do that. I'm trying to give it out everything for free, because I think I just want to bring the most value possible. It's not about the money. It's not about anything else. I just want to bring the most value possible to the audience as much as I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's who I am. I'm just a normal guy who's documenting this process. Like, to sum it up.
Yeah. That's kind of the reason I invited you, because I knew you would probably provide some good value to all of the people listening at home or wherever they're listening this to.
Yeah, that actually, like, I'm humbled too. Like, I'm humbled actually that you say that. I'm actually humbled. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. So the next question is, which is, this is going to be fully off topic from all of the questions you're going to hear from now on, but
Okay, all right.
it's from someone in the viewers. So yeah. Do you watch any series? If so, what would you say is your favorite?
I'm actually very bad at this, but the thing is, I am not a big fan of Like, I know a lot of people don't like this, but the reality is, I'm not a big fan of movies. I'm not a big fan of TV series. There's only a few series that I've watched in my life, and that would be what you call Friends, which is actually a sitcom. it's not exactly what you call a proper series. It's a sitcom, right?
Yeah.
So I watched Friends and How I Met Your Mother. Both of them are sitcoms. And the other one that I watched is Game of Thrones, and that's pretty much it. Like I watched like 5 seasons of Castle. I don't know if you've watched it. Uh, and that's pretty much it. I don't really watch series or movies much even. Like I don't even remember the last time I watched a movie. So and in fact, Game of Thrones, I just finished. Like I just watched it this year,
Yeah.
and like during COVID, because I was going like during COVID, you had a lot more time than you used to in the other days. Like as in you were
Yeah, of
like
course.
I'm usually working on by myself all the time, but during COVID, like everybody had time, so you spend more time with your friends and so on. And like my friend pushed me to watch Game of Thrones a lot, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And then I just watched it. Except for that, I just watched Friends and How I Met Your Mother. I'm not good with series or even movies, to be honest.
Okay. The next question is, how do you spend your time in a daily basis?
On my daily basis, so what I do is basically I have, everybody needs escapism. If you don't know what escapism is, but like if most people don't know what escapism is basically doing something to, like to free your time or to break free of what you do. Like for example, I run my business, I work, I try to make like form other businesses and stuff like that, right? So what happens is I'm always caught up with that. So I need escapism as well. I need something to have fun. Like I don't watch movies or series, so I need something to take like be away from the work I do, right? So what I do is I play
Yeah.
football every single day, and that's like almost 2.5 hours. So that's the thing that I do every day, which helps me a lot. And I also watch a lot of football. Like I'm a big fan. I literally watch every single game that I can,
What
um,
club do you
whenever it's
support?
on the TV. Like I'm sorry, yeah.
What club do you support?
Oh, I'm a big Barcelona fan, but
Oh,
it's like I watch every game like of every other club. So like every big club, I'm watching their game. So it's like I'm always watching some game, like always watching some game, because
yeah.
I just love watching football. I just love basically watching sport, like cricket as well. I like watching cricket a lot as well, but football a lot more. So I watch it like a lot. If I could say, okay, I'm always, even when I'm working, I always have it on my monitor if there's a game going on. I always have it by my side, and so that's how I find my escapism. Like I don't watch movies or series, but everybody has their own kind of thing, and I think that's how it should be. To be honest, I think anybody should not fall into a peer pressure or anything else, and try to find out their happiness, their way to do it, and that's my way to do it. And the other times I'm usually like I'm getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep every single day, right? So that's how
Yeah.
it goes. And the other 12 hours or so on, I'm literally working on my business all day long. Like I literally don't go out much. I do get out when it's important, but except for that, I most of the time I'm just trying to come up with things. I'm just trying to handle what I'm doing. I'm just trying to build on what I have. And these things are very uh, private, I could say, or things that I cannot really mention much, but that's what I really do all the time, most of the time.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm pretty sure that would answer their question. The
Yeah.
next is a connected question. What
Okay.
used to be your biggest weakness, and what is your biggest weakness right now?
Okay, so this is actually a really good question. I would say when I was young, okay, so the thing is, I studied in my own school, and what I mean by that is basically my family, my dad is a director, and my family owns it. Okay, so
Okay.
it's in Wari. It's called British Standard School. It's in Wari. I don't know if your viewers will understand or not, but it's in Wari. It's in British Standard School in Dhaka, Bangladesh. So what happens is when you study in your own school, it sounds cool, it's amazing, but I was always judged in such a way because people bring out statuses, as in you're this person and the other person is that. Yeah, if you know what I mean, like there's
Yeah.
status in the society, right? So what
Yeah.
happens is a lot of people looked at me in very different ways than they do today. Okay, or like when I was a kid, a lot of people were looking at me in a certain way that I was always feeling like I was being judged in every behavior, that I was being looked at in every behavior, and that built up an enormous amount of insecurity. Okay, like I
Yeah.
would say a lot, and the insecurity was really bad, like honestly really bad. I never talked to anyone about it, but as I grew up I realized that I actually have it. Okay, because
Yeah.
it's actually very difficult. It's actually very difficult. It's hard to explain, but it's actually very difficult. And I think as I go and explain more and more, I'll probably get good at it with like years and so on. But that was it. Like that insecurity was really bad, and it was really hard to get out of it. I got out of it. I don't have it anymore. Like not at all. I just don't give a shit about what anybody says anymore, or anything, or anybody, what anybody judges about me or anything, right? But
Yeah.
at that point in my life, it was really difficult. And that insecurity that I had was like one of my, if I did not have that, I could literally like be confident enough to say it that I would have been a YouTube star or an Instagram star by like already or something like that. But I was just so insecure. Like it's not even hard to explain how insecure I was because of that exact thing, that I don't know if people were judging me, but I always felt that I was being judged. And I am actually kind of sure that they were doing it, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that would be my biggest weakness I've ever had. And if I say what weakness I have right now, the thing is, I'm just a 23-year-old. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm still learning, and I would suggest I'm still bad at, like, even though I talk about it a lot, like I usually talk about something that I'm good at, like, or something I actually do, and I actually try to do. So this is something I try to do, which is why I also try to talk to people about it, because that makes it easier.
Yeah.
Um, I'm kind of bad at making decisions fast. I would want to make decisions a lot faster than I do. That's what I would say. Like, let's say I'm ordering a food and I don't know which to order, which is really common, right? I don't know which to order,
Yeah.
but I would want that decision to be like 10 times faster than I do. And I think that speeds up your life a lot. Even when you're running a business, even when you're doing a job, anything you do, when you can make decisions a lot faster, like speed matters. Okay, when you have speed in your life, it gets really easy because I don't dwell on my mistakes much. It's like if I do a mistake, I won't dwell on it. That's great. But the decision making, so if you make good, fast decisions and you fail at it, I wouldn't dwell at it. Okay. But I'm still struggling to make the decision as fast as I want. I'm a lot better than I used to be. Like I was really slow at this, but I'm a lot better than I used to be. But I think I want to be a lot more, like 10 times more faster than I am.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Everybody does.
that'd be it. Yeah.
Okay, we have our last viewer question, and then we'll get into my questions.
Okay,
What do
great.
you, what do you have to say for people who have unsupportive parents?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, a lot of people, I don't know if anybody like of you, like I'd suggest a lot of people know. Okay, so a lot of people know that um, I decided to not to go to universities, right? So after my school ended, I decided to talk to my parents. I went up to them and told them that I don't want to study, and they were shocked, of course. But what happened is I was able to convince them because I was earning at an early age, so I gained the trust. Okay, and they knew that I had something in me at a very early age, so it was really simple for them. Like they're really good parents. Okay, I would not judge that because their parenting is why, well, whoever I am today, and it's completely up to, like, it's completely because of them. Okay, and I would suggest that everybody's not lucky enough to have amazing parents, and that's just the world. Okay, everybody's not lucky enough, but you can always, like, if you have a parent who's at least who's someone who actually understands, or a little like, well, how could I say this, anybody who at least tries to understand you. If you have a parent like that, I would suggest try to prove to them at an early age. Like I was doing it since I was 14 years old. Okay, I was proving to them that I'm good at these stuff and not studies. That is why they could allow me to do that. But most of the people, like, they wait for their graduation or so on or something, let's say school and so on, to prove to their parents, or they're just like, I don't want to study because of this, because something like that. And it just doesn't make sense, because the thing is, your parents just want the best for you. They just want the best things for you, and that is what you will do when you're a parent. That's what I will do when I'm a parent. Okay, and that's how it goes. Like, because they're scared that whatever mistakes they do in their life, they don't want you to do. But the
Yeah.
reality is, you have to get punched in your life, in your face, to be good at life. Okay, so you have to get punched, and parents forget this because they just love their child so much that they forget that you have to get punched in your face. And I think most parents should let their kids get punched. Uh, I'm a kid who never got punched since I was a kid. All I got was like, since like when I was a teenager, from 16 to 23 is when I actually failed a lot in my life. Before that, whenever I like, for the best example in this like Bangladeshi society, the best example would be, if a baby falls down, or if a kid falls down, while trying to learn to walk.
Yeah.
What our parents do is, they try to blame the floor, not the kid. Like, they don't let him or her fail, like, not the kid. Like, if you think about it, it's crazy. They literally blame the floor, like, and that's what they do all your life, like, since you're a kid. And what they do is, they try to make sure you understand that you're not failing, it's the world failing you. But the reality is, you do fail, right, at certain scenarios, and you gotta get punched in your life. And a lot of parents forget this. So what this happens is, it builds up a lot of insecurity, a lot of bad behavior in a kid. And if you have got parents who, like, basically does not let you do that, or is really unsupportive, let's say, I would suggest you just try to prove them as early as you can. And if you cannot, um, I think a lot of things can be solved with conversations. I think we're scared. So I have a lot of friends. I tell them that, just go and talk to your mom. Just go and talk to your dad about this. And when you do that, when you go and talk to the person that's basically holding you back, like, parents mostly hold us back because we're scared of them. Okay,
Yeah.
so when you go and it's the same for any friend. It's the same for anyone. If you go and talk to them that, look, I want to do this, but I'm really scared by you, and I'm not being able to do this. So, and they would like, most would understand. But if they don't, I just think you just have to fight it through. Like, you just have to understand that, let's say a parent, if my parents for forced me to study, if my parents told me that there's no other way, you gotta study, we will make you study, and so on, like, if they went against what I want, okay, I would have to spend 4 hours of my time, or 6 hours of my time daily, in studies, or like in universities or so on, right?
Yeah.
And I would have nothing to say, because, like, for me, it's kind of different. Like, there's this thing I forgot to mention, which is, try to earn your own stuff. So when parents pay you, okay, so parents pay for your life, right? Most of the time, most
Yeah.
parents are paying for your life, which is how it should be, because you're their kid. So, but if you start earning at an early age, and as you stop taking their money, they have this feeling, like, this is really common. Okay, so when a parent is paying for your life, like, when they're paying for your books, when they're paying for your, let's say, computer, when they're paying for your phone, when they're paying for things that you do every single day, they actually kind of, it's hard to say, but it's like, they kind of own you in such a way that they can ask you to do some things how they want it to be. Okay,
Yeah.
but But if you can live a life by yourself, like if you can pay for yourself, it's okay, it's great to live with them. I love my parents so much, it's crazy. I live with them and so on, right? But I try to pay for my stuff. Like I literally, since I was 16, I don't remember taking any money from my parents. And that gives a state of different mindset in your, like, or a different mind, or a different, emotions or so on in your mom or dad's head. And that's when they start feeling that, okay, I cannot dictate his life anymore, you know. But when they're paying for your stuff, they can actually dictate your life in their way, because you are taking it. The moment you stop taking their money, like not for regular stuff, like if when my parents asked me to study, when they said that you gotta study, I told them that, okay, you're gonna pay for it. I'm not gonna do any job. If I go abroad, I'm not gonna do any job. I'm not gonna do anything. You're gonna pay for every little thing, and only then I'm gonna pay, because I cannot waste my time on something like this. The only way I would study is if you're paying for everything, and I don't have to, and I would never spend my money on this, never, because I don't believe in it. So they're like, and then they realize, okay, okay, this makes sense. Like, and that's the same thing I would want for anybody to do. That if you are, let's say, taking money from your parents, first try to get rid of that. And I'm not saying everything. It's like you can have food that they offer, because they're your parents at the end of the day, right? But things such as you using your phone, and even clothes, to be honest, or computer, anything that is completely yours, you got to stop taking from them. That would be the number one advice. The moment you stop taking from your parents, like money, I'm saying money, the moment you stop taking money from your parents, they cannot dictate your life anymore. Like they would just get that feeling that they cannot dictate your life anymore. With time, they would just get it, and you would understand that as well. I think that would be the advice, to be honest. Yep.
Great.
Stop taking money from your parents.
That's that was a long answer, but I'm pretty sure that answered answered their question and gave them some proper advice. So let's head over to a couple of my questions that I have for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
How do you set up slash plan your goals?
How do I plan my goals? So, for me, it's like, for me, it's like it's more about the process, you know. So it's not about what I'm reaching; it's about the process. So I don't really have many, what would I say, definite goals. One would be to actually serve the audience that I'm trying. Like I do have goals, such as I wanna at least have, let's say, 100K YouTube subscribers, right? Um, I would say but it's like most of my goals are based on patience. So I know it's not going to happen until 2 3 years. So it's like 2023, 2024. So that's how I plan my goals. Mostly, it's all about patience. I look at the long term thing, the long term scenario. If I'm looking at, life goals, such as, like, let's say, business or so on. If I have an agency that I want to scale and want to grow, right? So I don't really have a goal for it, I would say, but I just try to go along with the process. I don't really believe in, like, setting up exact goals. Like I used to do it, but then I realized when you set up exact goals with the exact date, it, like, you lose patience. It makes you really impatient. Like I
Yeah.
used to do it even a year back. Okay, even a year back. So when I started getting towards my goal, like when I started getting towards the date that I was supposed to be done with my goal, it kinda got me really impatient, and it makes you, like, it's not good for your head. It's not good for your mindset. And so I stopped writing down goals. I stopped having fixed dates for my goals, and so on. I just like to go with the process, and I just think long term. Like anything I start, let's say I start a business today, or
Yeah.
let's say I start even a YouTube channel, because it's a business. YouTube channel is a business, just so you guys know.
Yes.
Anything that I start, I would just go for like 5 years bare minimum. Anything below 5 years, it's not a goal. So those are macro goals. Like if I talk about macro goals, like day to day goals, it's like I use my I use my Google to just help me out with it. Like I'll just ask it out. I'll just tell it, remind me to do this, remind me to do that, and I think that really works out. But I don't have really like macro goals, like big ones. I just like to go with the process.
Yeah. Okay, next question is, what is your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
What's my biggest failure? Okay, so what's the biggest failure of mine would be not saving any money since I was young. So basically, most people in Bangladesh start earning and start saving at an age of, let's say, 20 or 22, like after graduation mostly.
Yeah.
Like graduating after graduating like undergrad, basically after undergrad. But for me, I started at a very early age. So I was like 15, 16, 16 basically when I was starting to earn really good money, right? So I
Yeah.
was making, let's say, 200 to $300 a month, or sometimes even more. Okay, so at 16 years old, I was doing that. And I literally spent all, and as time went on, like 17, 18, 19, I was making more and more, right?
Yeah.
And as time went on, I never saved that money. I just spent it all the time. And like, and that would be my biggest failure. Like, because if I had saved up money that early, I could have really huge businesses today. And I'm not even kidding, like really huge businesses. But I don't, because I never saved money. And I think that would be the biggest lesson to anybody. And I talk about this a lot. If you follow me on TikTok, if you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on Twitter, or even YouTube, anywhere that I talk, is the same shit that, guys, learn to save money. Because when you have money, you can invest in shit. When you have money, you can build stuff. And I'm not saying you cannot do shit without money, it's hard work. But with money, it's like 10 times easier. So because you can get, look, anytime you can hire people, anytime you can get a lot of people and you can scale stuff, it's easier. So I think that would be my biggest failure, and I learned a lot from that, which is why I'm so good at learning, or I'm still learning, but I'm a lot better at managing money than I ever was. And this thing is really relatable to most people because our school, our universities, and so on, they never really teach you about money, right? They never really teach you about how to manage money. How should you really manage money? Go and ask anybody. Nobody really knows the exact definite answer, the proper way to do it,
Yeah.
right? So I think that would be my biggest failure and my biggest learning as well. I'm still learning, but yep.
At which age did you learn to deal with failure and how did you learn?
Okay, so honestly speaking, I think I never understood this, but I was always good with failures. Okay, I never understood because I was young. I never understood it, but since I was a kid, I think I was always good with failures. Even though I was always a protected kid, like my parents protected me a lot because they loved me, of course. But I think I was always good with failures still, because, and most importantly, because when I was, let's say, taking an exam in my school, I failed. It didn't really bother me much because um, I knew that's not something I want to do, right? And I knew that, and good thing my parents were so good that even if I fail at an exam, what they would do is they would just, like, they would scold me and so on, like family would scold me and so on, but my parents, they would never stop me from doing the things I love, right? So let's
Yeah.
say going out playing, and or like sitting on my computer all day. Like most people, most of my friends, when they failed or when they did bad, their parents stopped them from doing anything else. Okay, their parents stopped them from using the computer and so on. But for me, it was never like that. My parents never did that. So yeah, I think that would be like what that would be a great thing that my parents did. But in terms of failure, I think I got better and better in the last years since I started, trading. So if you don't know, I day trade. I day trade like, and I think since then I got a lot better. And especially as I built, like I had a business which used to make games, mobile games, apps, games.
Yes.
And we made like three games, and then I could not sustain the business because of money, and I think that was a good failure, and I learned a lot from that. So I think it just goes on and on. I'm still honestly, I'm still learning, but I think these things already help me a lot, and I it just doesn't bother me. I just don't like to dwell anymore. It's like there was this point in my life I used to dwell a lot, like a lot, I would say. Okay, and it's because, in fact, I used to dwell so much. I don't know if the viewers would understand what I would say next. But the thing is, I have this domain called bhallagena.com. And bhallagena, which means basically not feeling good. Okay. And I literally have this domain called bhallagena.com. I own it. And the reason I own it is because I was a kid, always like bhallagena, bhallagena, bhallagena all day, all the time. Even though it was not something that I'm feeling, but I was just saying it out of my mouth all the time that I'm bhallagena, which is basically me saying all the time that I'm not feeling good. And that was because, I don't know, I used to dwell a lot at one point in my life because there was just so much I was going through, maybe.
Yeah,
But as time went
probably.
on, I just stopped dwelling because I understand that what's the point? Like 99% of things don't really matter, It just doesn't. Anything that matters, anything that you can control is what matters. Anything else does not. So, yeah, that's how I think I did.
Oh, you didn't say the age you learned.
Like the age I learned to deal with failure.
Yeah. Or do you
So
know?
as I said, I was good. I was good as a kid. I just don't think I understood it much. But if I say that when I got really good, I would say in the past 3 years,
Past three.
like 19 to 23, something like that.
You're currently 23.
I'm currently 23 years, so 19 to 22 basically, and now I'm 23 years.
Oh,
I
okay.
just turned 23, like 10, 20 days or 12 days, something like that.
Okay, what's some advice you would give someone who's trying to pursue a career similar to yours?
Like in business.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm into marketing. I'm into business. So like I like any businesses, but I'm mostly right now into marketing, right? Um, Anybody who wants to come towards this direction, I would suggest learn to first, of course, if you're into business, you got to learn to eliminate any kind of judgment you get in your life, like anybody, even if it's your parents, even if it's your brother, friend, best friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, anybody who's judging you, you gotta get rid of them. Or it's hard. It's easy to say get rid of them. Just limit them. Limiting them is a great behavior. Like just limiting a lot of communication with them. So if you were talking to them like 7 days a week, try doing it like 3 days a week. That helps. Like if they're a negative person, if they're a pessimistic person, you first tell them, and if they don't agree, if they don't want to change it, you just to limit them. And except for like that, first that would be it. Eliminate judgment. Then the next would be like if I just talk about business, not marketing. So if you want to get into business, I would suggest dealing with failure is really important because you're gonna feel like 6, 7 out of 10 times, and you got to be okay with it. So if you're going in with like, I want to do this one thing and I want that to succeed, it's very likely that you won't succeed. Succeed, sorry. So it's very likely that you won't succeed if you're just going with that mindset that I'm just gonna do that one thing and that one thing's gonna work out. It's highly likely that it won't work out, and you have to be okay with that failing and trying again, and that failing and trying again and trying again and trying again. So I think business is all about mindset, to be honest. Which is why, like, I think I could like even when COVID happened, I lost like 12 clients, 12 to 13 clients in
Yeah.
the past year as COVID happened, because when the businesses don't have money to pay you, how would you take money from them, right? So if they don't have money to pay you, how would they buy your service? So when they could not buy my service, I lost a lot of clients, like foreign clients. And these were good clients, and I, I was okay with it. I never, dwell about it. I never even think about it much, and I think you have to be okay with that. And the last thing I would suggest is like being a good person. I think anytime you're a good person, you get good. So it's like when if you're a good person in business, if you're a good person, basically in life, if you deal everything with if you deal with people with empathy and so on, I think you get good with business. I think that's the best way to do it. So I
Yeah.
would suggest these mindsets, trickeries, or what you call strategies and stuff on. I think these are the best ways to head on to any business. But if you talk about skill set, there's skill sets are easy. Okay, skill sets are just 10% of the things. You can learn it on YouTube. You can do it on any course platform or anywhere. And I don't think that's hard to learn. In today's world, learning about anything isn't hard. I actually tweeted this morning, which is an amazing. I think I tweeted that YouTube should just start handing out diplomas. Like I literally tweeted that. You know, YouTube should just start handing out diplomas. And I think that's pretty much true. You can just learn anything on YouTube today. You don't even have to pay for courses. So it's the 90% mindset thing that's hard, which is what differentiates people. It's not the skill set. Anybody who thinks that the skill set is what differentiates people, it's not. There are like a million people like me, or a million people like you, or a million people like anybody else. Even if you talk about Zucks, even if you talk about Mark Zuckerberg, or if you talk about any even Elon Musk or anybody, I think there are thousands or hundreds of thousands of people exactly like them with even better skill sets. But the thing is, the mindset is the difference, and I think that's what everybody should focus on mostly.
What have you read or listened to recently that made you felt inspired?
What have I read? Or okay, so I don't read, so I don't read books. So basically, I did try reading books during COVID. I probably did two in my life in the whole year. I think I finished two in like 3 years or something like that, and that's it. I do not like reading books. I hate it. Like I literally hate it. Okay, I literally hate reading books. Um, okay, I think I read three books in my whole life, and that includes school books. I think I read three books in my whole life. There's nothing that I read I would suggest. But if I say inspired, what inspired me in the last few, I really don't know an answer to this. Like if like I could say, if I'm talking about any videos, I could say
Yeah.
I'd suggest. I don't really know. I cannot really figure out anything. Like I can't think about anything right now. But I think there was this one from this podcast in Bangla, Trinomial podcast or something. I think they said some things which inspired me a lot, like talking about life and how death works and so on. So they were talking about some things like this, and I think that was pretty good, to be honest. I don't exactly remember the thing, but as far as I remember, that was it.
Okay. Is
Like
there?
I don't have a definite answer for this, to be honest.
Yeah. It's sometimes hard to think. I understand.
Yeah.
Is there someone who really inspired you in your journey to coming to where you are, and why and how did they impact your life?
Okay, so I would go for like of course Gary Vaynerchuk, and I would go for Simon Sinek. I love Simon Sinek. I think these two people inspired me the most because um, if you look like yeah, I actually relate a lot to Gary Vee, and I think like uh, this is not because of the energy or something like that. He's got really crazy energy, right? I don't know if you watched Gary Vee, but he's
Yeah,
got like
I did.
crazy energy. I've got good energy like as well, and I never realized it in front of camera as well. I do because I never talked to the camera until this year. Okay, so when I started, I was like, oh shit, I do have good energy. The difference is that he has succeeded a lot in his life, like it's crazy. Like whatever he does, it's crazy. So I do actually relate to him a lot in certain scenarios. Like my parents really parented me really well, and I do relate to that a lot because I think it's a lot similar to what he talks about all the time. That his parents were punishing him, but at the same time letting him do what he loves. the same thing happened with me. I sucked at studies, okay, but my parents were punishing me, and but still at the same time letting me do everything that I want, like everything that I really like to do, and so on. Which is why I was really good with computers and so on at the age of 10 or at the age of 11 or so on, and that's the like I relate a lot to him, so that's why I really like him. I relate a lot with the energy as well. I love the energy. And with Simon Sinek, I would suggest that he's just such a thoughtful person, and the way he thinks, I think it's crazy. Like whenever he talks about why you should be doing what you do, it's actually very thoughtful, and it gets me thinking into why am I doing what I do and so on. So uh, I really love what Simon Sinek does, and I am a big fan. So I would suggest these two people, these two, like Gary and Simon Sinek, are the ones that inspired me, and especially in the last 2 3 years when I started watching them. And I think these two actually, like, I would suggest changed my life in certain scenarios, like because I was never this optimistic that I am today, and it's all the optimism I have today. It's all because of Gary Vee. I would just put it like that. The optimism that I have today, it's all because of Gary Vee. So I just want, and that's the reason I put out positive stuff into the world, because I think if he can do that to me, I can do that to like 1,000 more people at least.
Yeah.
And if I succeed at doing it to one person in my life, and I don't have to do it the same way. I want to do it my way, because Gary Vee is always cussing and so on, and that's not something everybody likes, especially in our region, in Bangladesh. And I would suggest if I can help change one person's life with optimism, with positivity, I think I'll look at myself as a winner, like just 1%. So that's the goal, to be honest.
So now we have opinion based. So we'll probably have a bit of arguing if our both of our opinions are not the same, which will probably it'll probably
Okay.
be. What's your opinion on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels? Do you think they'll go anywhere or just fail?
So I think okay. So let me put it this way: the internet is huge, right? The internet is huge, and Google and YouTube already has the market, right?
Yeah,
So if out of the internet you can take 1%, 1% is a lot. Okay, the 1% is a lot, and if you can have one person watching your videos, you're doing really good, and like you will succeed. Okay, you will succeed. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So in case of YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, they're gonna be there. They're not going away.
yeah,
And YouTube Shorts is great, to be honest. I think it's nice. Like you cannot compare these two with TikTok, because TikTok's on another level because it's a platform.
yeah,
These things are not specifically built upon a platform of short videos. They're trying to catch up with TikTok, so it's very different. They're gonna be good. They're gonna be good, but I just don't think they're gonna beat TikTok. I just don't believe that. But there's this okay, they might beat TikTok in only one scenario: if TikTok continuously fails at you know um their reports. Like TikTok has a very bad system when handling reports or bans and so on. And I think that's something that TikTok lacks at very badly, and I think that's the only region where YouTube or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels might beat TikTok. Instagram Reels had a very you know great what you call it uh, a time. Like basically, Instagram Reels had a really great time when TikTok got banned in India, because India has a very huge base of audience, right?
yeah,
Like they have like huge population. So what happens is when TikTok got banned, everybody got into Instagram Reels, and Instagram Reels was fire in India. Like it's crazy fire in India, and I think that's why Instagram Reels has been so good, because India literally pulled it like India literally made it big. To be honest, USA of course is always there, but India has such a huge population and so on. And one more thing about Instagram Reels is that it's no more. the same because Instagram got a new update. I don't know if you know about it. It's basically Instagram feed videos, Instagram IGTV videos. They all are put up into the same place. Now it's called Instagram video. There is no more IGTV. So it's called Instagram video. So the feed videos are the same as Instagram reels nowadays. It's just like it's the same dimensions, it's the same thing. You just like there are no more feed videos or IGTV videos. It's very different now, and I think that's a really good update. I was just about to make a video about it on TikTok today, and I think that update's actually gonna kill it. Like it's actually a really good update for Instagram. I don't know how long Instagram's gonna last, but I think I see it for like a few years still, and I think this was a really good one. This update. So I think Reels and YouTube Shorts are gonna be there, just not gonna be TikTok.
Yeah, I personally think that they're both gonna fall in about an year. I give it that much time. Because most of the content on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels is basically just repost from TikTok,
Yep.
unless YouTube starts like buying off creators from TikTok, which which is what they did
Yep.
with YouTube Gaming, and they're obviously
Yep.
doing somewhat well now. But if YouTube doesn't start doing that same thing with YouTube Shorts, I don't think so. YouTube's gonna go anywhere. I think it's just gonna fail. Instagram Reels, I have nothing to say. I don't know much
Okay.
about it. So
Yeah, that's actually a good insight. That everything that you see on YouTube Shorts is actually on TikTok, basically. But yeah, as I said, it's like if you get 1% of the internet or even less, you win. So it's like YouTube Shorts is actually gonna be around for that. Not it's not gonna be the platform that you look up to, but it's gonna be there. That's what I'm saying.
okay, let's move over to the next question. If you would have to go back in 10 years, what would you do differently?
In 10 years, so that's like 13 years old. Uh, I would work out because I looked horrible. I would go for that. Okay, so in 10 years, what would I? Honestly, nothing. Like honestly, nothing. I think uh, I'd probably learn more about money. That's the only thing I would say. I'd probably learn about more about money, like managing money and so on. Except for that, I think I did pretty well. I would say I want to change anything. Except like as I said, I would probably want to work out because I did not like I did not hit puberty. Probably I just hit puberty or something like that. So I did not look as good as I do right now. So yeah, except for that, I think there's not much I would like to change. I think everything's worked out pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, we'll head over to the last question of today's episode. If
Yeah.
tomorrow, if tomorrow was your last day, what would you do?
I'd spend it all with my family. I'd spend today all day with my family.
Yeah, I'll do
Like
something.
that's the easiest. Like that's the best answer I could give because I just love my family so much. Like, and when we say family, we have a joint family, so it's like big. It's like 20 people. So I spend all my day with them. Like, if I know tomorrow's the last day, I'm definitely doing that.
Okay.
Which is actually very sad because um, it's like tomorrow could be my last day, and I just don't know, and it gets me to thinking: Am I spending enough time with my family? Like when you think about this stuff, like tomorrow could be the last day. And if I knew it, I would spend probably all my day with them, right? But I just don't know, and I gotta act up on life as well. And that's actually very saddening when you think about it when it comes to life. But at the same time, you gotta be practical. So it's like try to spend as much as you can and do what you do.
Yeah. Okay, that's enough for today's episode. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to plug whatever you want. Go.
Um, just do what you love. Um, I would go with that. Like, just do what you love, and don't care much about people's judgment. I'd say that.
Okay. Listen to what he has to say. I'll leave most of his social medias down below. Go ahead and check him out. And that was episode 7 of Vertex Talks. Come back next episode. I'm not fixed to who's the actual guest, but we'll have someone on. If not,
Oh,
we'll have a
also,
solo episode. So yeah,
yeah. Also,
well,
thanks so much for having me here. Like,
yeah,
thanks so much for having me here. I'm really humbled, really thankful.
yeah. And this is episode 7. Peace out.